Me personally, I would probably take audit first and then FAR because I'm just better at more mathy exams. I don't do too well with conceptual questions and gray area and multiple choice questions that have more than one right answer. What is up? So this will be the second video in my CPA series that I'm doing, and this video will be all about the audit exam. Now, if you watched some of my previous videos, you know that audit was a big struggle for me. Back when I was taking the CPA exams, it took me 5 tries to pass audit. And going in, I would not think that audit would be the hardest section because it kind of has a reputation of being easy because it's not math intensive. It's one of the shorter sections of the exams, but it is a very, very tricky exam. I would not underestimate audit, especially if you don't have audit work experience, because it is going to be harder for you than someone who does have audit work experience. The audit exam will test you on performing audit and attest engagements, as well as review service engagements. So on this exam, you will be tested on information that you learned in your auditing, assurance services, and advanced auditing classes. Now, like I said in my FAR video, and based on what I've seen in the blueprints, as well as what I've read online and people's speculations, audit will probably be the hardest section of the CPA exams now because not much is being removed from audit, but there's going to be more information added in. Specifically, audit will more heavily test on data analytics as well as COSO that was previously on the BEC exam. So you definitely want to spend some time on that in addition to the auditing information that is tested. One piece of advice I have for you if you're trying to pass audit is do not underestimate the ethics section. I think a lot of CPA candidates, they think that ethics is easy, it's just basic knowledge, they can just kind of wing that section. You cannot wing that section on the CPA exams. I took audit 5 times, and the times that I didn't pass the audit section, I got a score report back showing me which areas I did well, which areas I didn't do well, and my ethics section was always not as strong as I thought it was. Because on the CPA exam, the CPA is going to try to trick you. They're going to try to make the ethics multiple choice questions not straightforward, and you're going to feel like there's more than one right answer. So definitely spend some time on the ethics section. Know what factors consider an auditor independent versus not independent. Don't make the mistake that I made by thinking that I don't have to spend that much time on it and I should just use my intuition and figure out what the right answers are, because
you can't do that.
Especially on a certification exam. After you've mastered the ethics section, focus the bulk of your time on performing further procedures and obtaining evidence. This is going to be the nitty-gritty of the actual auditing and gaining sufficient appropriate evidence to issue an audit report. It's going to be the bulk of the exam. It was the bulk of the exam when I took it, and it's still going to be the bulk of the exam. And also looking at the blueprints, this is where the evaluation skill is going to be tested. So there's remembering, understanding, analysis, and some other skills, but only evaluation is tested on the audit exam, and this is where evaluation is tested. And evaluation is the hardest skill. Something else I want to say, and I don't know if this is still the case on the audit exam after the AICPA kind of came out with their CPA evolution, but the forming conclusion and reporting is going to be pretty basic questions. From all my audit exams, from what I remember, I did not struggle with that section at all because they did not test very, very detailed and hard questions on that section. And then on the times that I didn't pass my CPA exams and I got my score report, I actually excelled on that 4th section. So I just go through the CPA review course, know when an unqualified opinion is needed, when a disclaimer opinion is needed, when an adverse opinion is needed. I wouldn't spend too much time understanding the super nitty-gritty stuff. I would spend the bulk of your time really mastering the substantive testing section of audit. When you're taking the audit exam, make sure you read the question carefully. Audit is one of those sections where they're really playing with the words. So one word can make a difference between the correct answer and the incorrect answer. And I cannot tell you how many times when I was taking practice exams at home studying for audit where I didn't read the entire question or the entire answer choice and I just picked an answer and I got it wrong. And when it showed me the correct answer, I knew that that was the correct answer, but it's because I didn't read the question, and that's why I got it wrong. So super, super important that you read every single word in the question and the answer choice before you pick an answer. Also, the AICPA made it very clear in the blueprints that you need to be aware of the entity type and the engagement type presented in the question. So make sure you pay attention to if the question's asking you about an issuer or a non-issuer, review or a compilation, audit engagement, an attest engagement, or an assurance engagement, and if it's interim reporting or not. In terms of the task-based simulations, again, read the question carefully. But on the actual audit exam, they will give you more information than what you actually need to answer the question. So you have to know what to pick out, what you need to use, and what you can ignore because it's just there to throw you off. That was one of the hardest things about audit for me, was that sometimes I didn't know what information I actually needed to answer the question. Also, something else about task-based simulations is that they will not be as easy as the simulations in your study software. At least for Wiley CPA Excel, the simulations in my study program were a lot easier than the simulations on my exam. So that's a little disappointing because you do the simulations and you think that's how it's going to be on the exam, but it's actually not. It's going to be a lot harder. And I think based on what other people say, they have a similar experience where the simulations in the study software is not as hard as the ones on the exam. So I would say the best option is probably just to do the simulations that the AICPA has on their website. They have one for every section, and those simulations are very similar to what's on the actual CPA exam because they're the makers of the CPA. They're going to give you what's similar to what you're going to be presented on your exam. So like I mentioned in my FAR video, audit will probably be the hardest section of the CPA exams now. So you might want to consider taking this section first, especially if you don't have audit work experience. On the flip side of that, people argue that FAR is the foundation of accounting and it's going to be a lot harder for you to pass audit if you don't know FAR. And I do understand that. Like I mentioned in my FAR video, on my last audit exam, the one that I passed, there was one simulation where I would not have gotten that correct if I did not take FAR first. So I can see both sides of the argument, but just do what's best for you. You know yourself best. Me personally, I would probably take audit first and then FAR because I'm just better at more mathy exams. I don't do too well with conceptual questions and gray area and multiple choice questions that have more than one right answer. But maybe that is your strong suit. Maybe you're better at conceptual questions. You're not as good as mathy exams. Good luck on the audit section of the exams. I will leave my CPA playlist in the description below. If you enjoy this video, definitely subscribe, turn on the bell notification, and also give this video a thumbs up. I am trying to reach some YouTube goals this year, so it would mean the world to me if you showed your support. Also, leave me a comment letting me know where you are in your CPA exam journey. All right, you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.